The internet is full with so many people giving advice, and here I am about to give some advice as well. But in particularly as it pertains to young black men, um, a lot of the content that I see out there when it comes to things that young black men or single black men should be doing, um, in terms of living a fulfilling life. A lot of it that I've seen centers around how to find the perfect mate, how to find the perfect wife, and that can be good to an extent. But I want to look at a more well-rounded approach before you even get to that point, because as you know, there's a lot of things that should be addressed by both sides, rather if you're a man or a woman. There are certain things that you should do to prepare for marriage. So in this video, I just want to give from my own personal experience, at least 5 things. These are just starter points that young men or single men should focus on before you start looking into marriage. So I'll just start off. It's really in no particular order, but number one, if you haven't done so by now, either find a job or create one. I mean, I think that kind of goes without saying, but this, the mindset of having a work ethic, it can't be enforced enough. It can't be emphasized enough. It should not be in any man's plans that he's looking for a woman that's going to carry him and do everything. No, 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 no. You need to be doing that yourself. You need to, before you even think about bringing a female in your life, either if it's for dating or even marriage, you automatically need to see yourself as a provider. And so you need to either, find a job, and not just any job, but one that obviously it pays well, but one that particularly one that has a future to it. You understand what I'm saying? In other words, don't just settle. Part of life, and I've done this as well. Sometimes you just listen. Right now, I just need some money in my pocket. You know what I mean? And sometimes you have to take jobs like that, and that's understandable. But you also want to begin to focus on jobs where you can see yourself growing in it, becoming something more than just someone answering the phones or, loading up trucks or whatever. Start thinking about, okay, what other openings are available at this place of employment that I am right now? Always be looking forward, looking ahead like that, whatever job you get. Some jobs just, it ain't for that. Some jobs that you may get are just jobs just so that you can get some quick cash, and that's understandable. So, that's fine. But other jobs that you may get, you want to definitely always look ahead. One thing about being a man is you're a person that always looks ahead. You're always looking forward. And that's a characteristic that should carry over into your in your work life. So that's working for somebody. You also want to look at opportunities where you can create your own business, your own opportunities. Where there isn't an opportunity where someone's hiring. Look at your own personal skill set. Do an assessment of your own skills. Maybe get a piece of paper, write it down. Here are all my skills or whatever, and figure out a way that you can possibly make a business out of it. I believe all people have a set of skills that they can use to create a business out of it. Doesn't necessarily mean that all people are entrepreneurial by nature, but for certain, you can do something where when things get tight, you can always pivot to that skill set that can actually bring you some additional income, whatever it may be. It could be big or small. It could be something computer related. It could be something hardware related in terms of like building things or being an electrician, building furniture, whatever it may be, and then in those skill sets, think about ways that you can get some kind of certification with those things, because That's one thing. Let's say, for example, you have the skill set of an electrician. You like work. And maybe you used to look over your uncle's shoulder or somebody, and as they were, putting a wiring in for a house or whatever. That's good, but things like that, you do need to have some kind of certification. There's way too many people out here that are functioning in those types of jobs, or those opportunities where they're not licensed, and they're causing a lot of damage out there for real. You know what I'm saying? And the customers have no recourse. So you want to also, in addition to looking at your skill set, you want to look at ways, how can I perfect it? How can I maybe get some kind of certification for it? In some cases, it's a very easy process. In other cases, it may be a little more advanced. You know what I'm saying? So you just want to measure that out, and count the cost. Is it worth me getting the certification in this? If it's not, then take a look at your other skill sets and then go in that direction that may not require a certification. Like, for example, cutting grass, doing lawn work. There may be some certifications for stuff like that out there, but I don't think, not necessarily. It's just having the ability, the demonstrated ability to do that kind of work. And so it's all kinds of things you can do, but I would say definitely you want to make that your foremost priority, and that is either finding a good job where you're looking forward and seeing and looking for opportunities where you can get higher, or creating your own opportunities just based on your skill set. The next thing I would say is, with that, now that you're getting that income, is to make sure you clear your debt. Whatever debt you have, you want to work on that and clear the debt. For me personally, before I got married, I said to myself, I had a school loan, and I said, before I even get married, I knew Nicole, but we weren't dating. It wasn't anything like that. But because at that point, I didn't know who my wife was going to be, or if I was going to get married, for that matter. But what I did know is, I said, if the day ever comes, if I do get married, I want to make sure that I am completely out of debt. And I had did I have a car loan? I may have had a car loan too. I'm not sure, but I made sure the debt was cleared, and I paid all of that off. And because debt is something you do not want to carry into a marriage at all. Okay. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. You definitely don't want to do that. When you enter into marriage, you want to enter in with as clean of a slate as you possibly can. So if you have any kind of debt, big or small, you want to make sure that it's cleared out to the best of your ability. Like I said, I can't even emphasize that enough. The next thing I would say is work on your health. Particularly for those of you in the Western society, that, many of us, we're a little bit up there in our poundage. We got some extra poundage that we don't need to be carrying. And so this is a wonderful time. If you are someone that doesn't have children, or other responsibilities like that, this is a wonderful time for you to begin to focus on you, on your health. And I'm gonna tell you, when you focus on your health, it reverberates. The positive of that reverberates through just about every area of your life. You're able to think clearer. You're able to plan better. It's transformative for real. So I would definitely say work on your health. And what I mean by that is, if you look at your body and you're like, man, I'm just a little bit too big, man, then you need to work on that. It takes time. Losing weight, for example, isn't an easy task for a lot of people. So you want to take time and find the diets that are right for you. There are plenty of diets out there that are geared towards men, and you want to take a look at those different diets. Also different workouts as well. You want to find out what's best for you when it comes to a workout. Are you good at working out by yourself? Or do you need to get someone that's a trainer that can help you? I would definitely say you want to explore both of those things. You want to be at your optimum when it comes to your health. Now I'm talking about physical, but now let's talk about your mental. Mental is just as important. I would say even more important. And that is your mental health. Unfortunately, in our world today, we have a lot of men who have come out of homes where they did not see a father that was a father. In some cases there may have been the father was there, but he wasn't there. You know what I mean? There may be cases where there was abuse. It's all sorts of things. Whatever traumas that you may have encountered as a child, you need to get counseling for that. I cannot emphasize that enough. Don't buy into the lie that you're a man and you could tough it out and all this other stuff. No, no, no. You need to get counseling for that. And because if you do not, that will definitely carry over into your marriage and how you communicate with your wife. And so you do not want to go into marriage without having that addressed. And really, counseling comes down to sitting down, talking to someone who is licensed. I'm not talking about talking to your pastor or anything like that. I'm talking about someone who is licensed and has the personal experience of dealing with people who have gone through trauma in early part of their lives. And because, like I said, again, that carries over into so many things. So you want to get that addressed. I cannot stress that enough. I mean, I would even go as far as saying, even if you can't get the physical done, let's say you can't make the gym, you need to get that taken care of. You need, if there's any kind of issues, that you've been carrying over since childhood or whatever, and they've never been addressed, you need to get that taken care of. I would say that's the utmost priority to do that. Okay. And like I said, don't buy into the lie that somehow men ain't supposed to do that. That's only a women's thing. No, 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 no. This is for everybody. And so I would definitely encourage that. The next thing I would say would be travel. Now, when I talk about travel, I'm not talking about the passport bros thing where you're going in and going to these different countries to check out the different women. I'm not talking about that at all. This has nothing to do with women. One of the things when I look back in my own life, I wish I had done before I got married is I did a little more traveling. But I did move away from home, so I guess that kind of counts. I don't know, but I do, looking back now, wish I had done a little bit more traveling. I cannot stress to you the importance of as a man to going out and exploring the world that you live in. I can't express how important that is, because one of the things I know growing up, I said, I never want to be like my classmates who they graduate from high school and they pretty much stay there and that's all they know in the same town. Ain't no shade on them. If that's what they want to do with their lives, that's their choice. They're happy. That's cool. But I think you miss out on so much in life when you don't get the experience of going to these different areas, and not so much different countries. If you're here in the United States, there are so many beautiful places all throughout this country that you can visit, that you don't have to spend as much money going to, let's say, Europe or, South America or, one of the Pacific islands or whatever. I mean, you can come out places like in, California, the Pacific Northwest. You can go down, if you want to go in the South, you can do that. I think everybody goes there, but there's so many different things in this country that you can go spend time with, like going camping. If you've never gone camping before, hey, why don't you do that? Take some time to do that. If you're never going canoeing, that's another thing, or whitewater rafting. Learn bushcraft. Bushcraft is that thing where people, is basically a skill set where you can pretty much build anything you need to build if you were just out in the country. I mean, don't go hard with it if you ain't prepared for it, but there are plenty of people out here that know how to do those things, and you never get the opportunity to do it if you don't do it. I would even say that's on one end. The other end of the spectrum is, go four-wheeling, go out, find a place where you can do some fun four-wheel driving things and do that. Think of the things that you typically don't see us doing. You know what I'm saying? I think fishing is something that's kind of in our culture. A lot of people do that, but I want you to also think about things that you don't typically see us doing. This is not some aspiration of trying to be white. You know what I'm saying? It's just no, it's exploring, you know what I mean, and seeing just how big the world is. Because when I tell you what it does to your brain, what it does to your mind, it really broadens you so that when you do face issues or problems or things that need to be solved, you have a much wider and broader perspective on a lot of these issues. That's why a lot of our people tune out on so many important issues, is simply because we just have such a narrow view on things, particularly on the world, in the world that we live in. Like you look at this upcoming election, for example, unfortunately, a lot of our people, in terms of what's important to them, they're just simply, well, she looks like us, that kind of stuff. But when it comes to discussions on the world stage, if you hire this person, if you vote for this certain individual, how is that going to impact things throughout the world, the countries I may want to visit, the people that I want to check out? Is there going to be some kind of impact on that? These are all kind of things that unfortunately that get missed because we just have such a narrow view. And what I'm encouraging our men to do is to get out there and just explore, learn a new language. That's another thing. Start off with Spanish and then build your way up, or learn some of the other Asian languages or something, or French, or whatever it may be. Challenge yourself just in those areas, to learn another language. It will just broaden you out tremendously, because, that's kind of what, as men, that's we are to have such a broad perspective on things and not be so narrow-minded. And I've come across so many men who just, they've never taken the opportunity to do any kind of real traveling. And then by the time you get married, you can still do that, but you're very limited because now you have other responsibilities. So if you're young, you're single, you have the resources to do it, I would highly encourage you to do it. Like I said, again, this has nothing to do with going out and checking out the different women in these areas. I'm sure you'll see that if you go out there. But don't let that just be your focus. You know what I'm saying? Let your focus really be on learning and, taking in new experiences, because I'm going to tell you, it will do wonders to just who you are as a man and how you see the world. Then the final point I would say is investing in your own future. I can't emphasize that enough either, because you have to believe in yourself first. You have to love yourself first. You understand? Because if you don't do it, you can't expect other people to automatically do that for you. So, as you are able to build up some resources, some monies on your own, look for opportunities where you can invest in yourself. That can mean maybe investing in yourself in terms of furthering your education. That could be one. It could also mean, investing in yourself and building a business. That could be another thing. Or it could be, buying land somewhere. Land, I think, is probably one of the easiest things to do. There's all kinds of pieces of land all throughout this country that you can buy as little as $1,000, if not less. But you just have to do your additional research. But other than that, it's not as hard as what people may think it is. But just little things like that, building a land portfolio, you can do that. Don't think so much in terms of staying up, trying to be current, and getting the latest and greatest car, for example. I honestly would say a car investment is probably one of the worst investments you can make. Not to say that you don't need a car. When I say car, I'm talking about, don't go out here and get a Tesla. You know what I'm saying? Because the depreciation value of a lot of these cars, it goes down so fast. If you're going to invest in a car, invest in something that's going to last, something that's going to get you from point A to B, point B to A. That's what you're concerned about. As far as like trying to impress the ladies and all that kind of stuff, if you want to do that, that's up to you. But trust me, if that woman is truly there for you, if that's the woman that's for your life, she's really not going to care what car you're driving. Now, she will care how you take care of that car. Because if you got McDonald's cups and wrappers all over the place in the car and all that stuff, nah, she probably gonna turn up her nose at that, and rightfully so. So even if you do have to get an older car, make sure it's clean, make sure that thing is tight, and and you're taking care of it, because that's the things that matter in the end. Don't go by these people on social media painting these, look at the latest car I got and look at these rims and all that stuff. I mean, if you want to invest in that, that's fine, but don't do it at the detriment of the plan that you should have for your own life. So those are just a few things. And in the future, I'll do some more videos like this, because, just kind of going through social media, I don't see enough of this. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but, I'm speaking as a husband. I've been married for over 25 years now. I'm speaking as a father, of two wonderful adult children. So I do have some experience in this area, and I would love to see more and more of our men just offering these kind of basic, advices. Again, I'm not saying I'm the only one, because I know there's others out there, but I think a lot more of this is needed. So if you are someone that's married and, you like me, you've kind of learned some things along the way, put your thoughts in the comment section to help out these other young and single men out here, so that they can have some other words of encouragement, or, maybe some tips I may have missed. Put it in the comment section below, so that we can help our young men out here. Okay. Thanks again for tuning in. Like I said, I'll be doing more of these in the future, because I really want to see these black men become who you were created to be. So you guys take care, and I'll see you next time.